So the first thing that we learned when we were doing finding percentages of numbers, we talked about repeating and terminating decimals. So for example, if I have 3 over 4, the fraction, to get it to a decimal, I divide 3 over 4. And that's going to give me 0.75. Okay, that's terminating. There's an end to this decimal. But when I do 2 over 3, and I divide 2 divided by 3, I'm going to get 0.6666 repeating. Okay, and that 6 is going to repeat for eternity. All right, my calculator just can't show it to me. And so we have a hard time writing these types of fractions. And so what we end up doing is we put a little hat over whatever number we're repeating. So for example, if it was 0.232323, and that repeated for eternity, we would put the little hat over the 23. And that shows that this number here, if I copy and paste it, is repeated. Right? So those were two definitions that we looked at. Then what we looked at is we found percentages of numbers mentally. And so we looked at, okay, what's 100% of 24? And so what we said that means is, okay, there are 24 questions on a test. And if I get 100% of them correctly, that means I got 24 questions correct. But if there's 50% of 24, that means there's 24 questions and I only got 50% of them, which is exactly half of 100, or I divide it by 2. And 24 divided by 2 is 12. So 50% of 24 is 12. I got 12 questions correct. And then we said, well, what if I said only 25% of 24 questions correct? Well, it's the same thing. I divide it by 2. It's half of 50. So once I have 50%, I divide that by 2. That gives me 6. And then we said, okay, what about 10% of 24? And we said the trick to that is we want to move the decimal over. There's a decimal at the end of the number. We want to move it one jump for 10%. So 10% of 24 would be 2.4. Then for 1% of 24, we want to move that decimal 2 jumps. 1, 2. So we get 0.24. And these are our little mental math tricks that we can use for any number that we are given. So whatever number I replace here with, these tricks work no matter what. And then our final thing that we learned is, well, okay, what if I wanted to do it with just a calculator? Okay, I wasn't trying to do this mentally because 46% isn't one of those numbers that I can easily do mentally. So we said the first step you have to do is you have to convert this percentage into a decimal. And we said, remember, to converting percentages to decimals, we have to divide by 100. So 46 divided by 100, it's going to give me 0.46. And then we talked about the word of. Anytime you see the word of in math, it means to multiply. And so now we actually have a sentence that we can put into our calculator. So 0.46 times 54. That's going to give me 24.84. And so 46% of 54 is 24.84. And that would be our answer. Okay, so really the two steps that we need to do when we want to put it into a calculator is we've got to convert it to a decimal first. We replace of with multiply, and then we punch it right in.